Alrighty, y'all. So Guillotine ended up coming out, and hey, that is the last character of 2024. So I seen my guys at the Sacred Treasure podcast do this for their little game on Grand Cross. Why not do it on Nikke? I'm going to be basically ranking every single character that came out in the year 2024 on the tier list, and I will leave a link to a tweet of who your favorite release of 2024 was down below. You can go answer on my Twitter or on this video, right? Basically, I want you to tell me who your favorite character of 2024 was, right? Doesn't matter how powerful they are, it's based on the story, just who's your favorite. If you don't know mine is Bay, right? So let's go ahead, we're gonna rank them from top to the very bottom, and we're gonna go from there. So in trash tier, we're gonna start off with Ade. By far the most useless character they've ever released in Nikke history, I do generally feel like. I think Ade could have been so good if they had made it that her skills work. The problem with Ade is her whole thing is that you basically are immune to one debuff the entire game. That's her entire kit, but the debuffs that matter don't work for that. So it's like useless in my opinion. Bunny Alice, great. I do think Bunny Alice is one of the better healers in the game. I would say she's a top 3 healer in my opinion. I feel like this character is so good with her burst generation buff, ammo capacity increase, ammo reload. The only issue with her is that you are re-entering the burst stage 1 on a 40-second cooldown, but mind you, 15%, 150 HP potency increase with healing and stat counts for water characters, plus some stacking for damage interruption parts. Very powerful character. I will say this character is easily my favorite healer in the game. So yeah, Asuka, I'm gonna also put in great. I know a lot of people probably would have had Asuka in broken. I just don't find that she is broken just because she's like really only good against like enemies you're fighting, which would be wind characters, I assume, right? If I remember correctly, wind, right? She's only good against, not only good, but she's really strong against wind code enemies. If you're not fighting wind code enemies, then she's just good, right? So we're gonna just keep her in the great tier. Bay, I think Bay was good. I think a lot of people actually hate on Bay for no reason. Like, I would say genuinely in this game, from the beginning of the game till now, Bay is the only character who actually feels like a defender, like an actual tank, a character where when you put her on the team, she's actually able to help you survive longer. Like, she's the only character that actually feels like that. And a lot of people will hate, people won't agree with it, but it's true. Every single person that I've that's talked about Bay in my comment section has said the moment I put Bay on the team, I have a fighting chance. So the problem with this game is survivability. It's not DPS. Everybody has damage nowadays, right? But nobody can tank. But when Bay came out, everybody was actually able to start tanking. So I'm gonna put her in the good tier. The only reason why she's in good tier because you do need her to be with another burst too, and usually that is Biscuit. Cinderella, broken. By far the strongest character they released in 2024. Probably the best character. Now I wouldn't say she's the best character they released in 2024, but she's easily the strongest character in 2024. That goes without saying. I don't need to explain for Cinderella. We all know. Clay. I feel like Clay's trash though, genuinely. Like, what does she do? I think her whole thing was that she's a true damage buffer and all that good stuff. She does have immune to 1 debuff as well. I think the attack buff for all allies is great. She is a supporter, so it's kind of useless. She is like mainly a true damage character. I'm gonna put her in mid. I feel like she has use for true damage. The only issue right now is there's nobody with true damage, right? So yeah, I'm gonna put her in mid, right? Because she does have use at the end of the day. Crown is broken. I would say Crown was the best release of 2024. I would easily say Crown is the best release of 2024. That doesn't even, like, she's too good. She makes any character on your account do more damage to actually compete. So there is that. Now, if you're wondering why Diesel's here, it's not because Diesel came out in 2024, but her favorite item did. And I would say her favorite item made her mid good. I'm gonna put her in good. I feel like you can actually get somewhere with Diesel now as a tank with her favorite item. So yeah, that's really it. She's a good tank, not as like anything more, but she's a pretty good tank. I don't even remember what her favorite item like also included. Let me just pull that up real quick, because I remember the tanking part, but there was more that to her favorite item, right? Her treasure has the stackable buff for herself, right? She does heal when she gets attacked. That was like her whole thing now. When like you used her burst skill or something, she would heal when attacked, and when she was in this effect, the attract status. Quite crazy, right? It was quite crazy. She kind of she would basically be invincible when you're in her burst skill. It's quite crazy. The Killer Wife is a broken character. I think the Killer Wife was a very, very good character. The first character to have 7 seconds cooldown reduction on CDR, that alone puts her in the broken tier, right? She was the first character where you could use her on the team alone, and she would actually make 40-second characters use their burst every single burst rotation. I don't know where D is. I gotta follow the letter here, right? That was her whole thing. She made it that you can use any 40 seconds. The attack damage was cool. Her burst skill was really nice. The pierce was really, really nice. But I think her main thing was the cooldown reduction. Ein is a great character. I think Ein was a beautiful character. I do think you should invest into her a little bit for her to really be powerful. But when you do, she is very, very powerful. You don't have to for her to be good, but she is a strong character. Like, she hits very hard. 70% attack buff. We're just entering the stage 3. Her near feathers is the reason why she's very powerful, y'all, though. Like, that's the reality. 80% charge damage increase per shot for every full charge. She's quite crazy, right? I would say Ein was a great character. Honestly, Elegg is a very good character too. I think Elegg is great for bosses. Increased damage to projectiles, instantly allows you to use your burst, her defense lower. I think the great thing about her was the instantly being able to burst, and then also the you know, the damage to projectiles. But I do like her a lot as a DPS. Emilia from the ReZero collab. I want to put her in great. I don't like use her personally because I have no reason to. I think she's good, but I don't think she's all that crazy, to be honest. I'm gonna put her in the good tier. I don't think she's all that crazy. I thought in PvP, I think she's really good in PvP. Outside of that, like, she's good in regular fighting, boss, story, whatever, but I don't feel like she's a character that you're going to use whatsoever. Like, not even that you're not going to use her. I just feel like there's just so many better characters where it's like this character is kind of useless to an extent, if that makes sense. My little idea. Exia, I'm gonna put Exia in great tier. Now, the reason why I want to put Exia, I'm gonna put her in the good tier. I think she's great for electric supports. I think as a burst 1 character, her being a supporter is what cucks her the most, because she's a very good burst 1 DPS. Right? I don't feel like I feel like she should be in great, but she's a supporter, and that's making her lose out on a lot of damage. But she's a very powerful burst 1 DPS, right? In my opinion. Flora, mid. I feel like Flora is great. I feel like Flora's first and second skill is great, but because her burst skills out of 40-second cooldown, it holds her back big time. I think the true damage is great. I think the shield is great. I think the stacking for all electrical allies is great. I think the HP healing every second basically is very good. I think she's a mid character because like you want to use her burst skill. That's the problem. That everything else is cool when you're not using her because you want to use her burst skill as well. Frima, I'm gonna put Frima in mid. Again, she's kind of like Clay, where they're both true damage buffers. Not really the greatest in my opinion, because right now there's not many true damage characters, right? So I'm gonna put it like that. Grave. I want to put Grave in broken. I think Grave is like the ideal sub DPS. A lot of people think Grave is bad for some god awful reason, but I think she's the ideal sub DPS. Very powerful when it comes to just doing damage herself, and then when it comes to buffing up Pierce characters, which there's a lot of them in the game, I feel like Grave is one of those characters that is going to be the go-to character for that. So I'm going to put her in broken. Usually I think I would have had her in great, but because she's a broken sub DPS, does great damage as a sub DPS, and then also good support, she's going in broken. Guillotine, used her quite a bit since she's released. It's been like 20, not even 24 hours since she's released, but I've used her for quite some time now. I'm gonna put her in the great tier. I think she's good. I'm gonna put her in the good tier. Don't get me wrong. I think her damage is great, but you're only really going to use her when fighting a freaking fire code boss. I don't think she's that great against mobs. I think you're going to only use her against fire code boss, but she is very good for buffing up all the water code DPSs that come out in the game and all the ones that are currently in the game as well. Kilo, mid. I feel like Kilo's great. I feel like Kilo is good. I think the only problem with Kilo, when I say great, I don't mean great tier, right? But I feel like the only problem with Kilo in general is the fact that she has a shield that is only catered to herself without any taunt ability, any damage reduction ability. She has nothing like that. And the only thing that I don't like about her kit is that her shield, you need to have her shield on for her to do anything, and it has to be her shield specifically, not any shield. It has to be her shield specifically, and that's what puts her in the mid tier. But overall, I could be, her burst skill is pretty good in my opinion, AoE wise. I do think she is going to be useful if she is being attacked and has her shield up, but no taunt and all that stuff kind of puts her in that mid tier, very close to trash tier. Laplace, a great character, easily one of the greatest saves of 2024 with her favorite item. She went from being a very mediocre DPS to one of the strongest characters in the game damage wise, so I'm gonna put her in great tier. Leona, good. I would have had Leona in mid tier, but I feel like the shotgun team got so buffed to the point where she is going to be in the good tier now. Her freaking pellets, that was like her whole thing, the pellets thing, very good for the shotgun team. I feel like hit rate is good for shotgun. The crit rate, the crit damage, good for shotgun. Like, she was the ideal shotgun character. I don't feel like the shotgun meta is all that great though, so I'm gonna put her in the mid tier, right? I just don't feel like the shotgun meta is like all that where it's like, okay, she's in the good tier, but I'm gonna put her in mid because she's only good for shotgun. Other than that, not really that useful in my opinion. But yeah, Maiden is good, great. I mean, Maiden is in great tier. I think she is perfect. I think she's a better Guillotine, especially when it comes to electric characters. She does fantastic damage and she supports electric characters like no other. Like, she's a very powerful character for the electric codes, so we're gonna put her in the great tier. Mari in great tier as well. Mari is like a hand-me-down version of Crown, and that's why I'm gonna put her in the great tier. Attack damage every 20 seconds, good AoE, good damaging buffs for herself and obviously all allies every other 5 seconds after the first 10 seconds. Pierce buff when hitting a target's core, very good for piercing characters, and then damage dealt to shield that affects all allies. Very powerful character, right? Very powerful character when it comes to shield, so I'm gonna put her there. Misato, the trash character, right? I think she's a great looking character from Evangelion, but other than that, she's quite trash. I think she could have easily been good if she wasn't on a 40-second cooldown, because her whole thing kind of revolves around her burst skill to an extent. Her being on a 40-second cooldown is like, what was the point, right? Moran, mid tier. I feel like she has use in PvP, but not to the extent where it's like she's good, right? I have used her in PvP quite some time, and I actually did get some results with her. I've used her for months in PvP, but besides her like being able to like kind of just stall the match a bit longer with this effect right here on her second skill, where she does taunt, and then when she, you know, hits like a certain number, she just gets back the HP. So when she goes below 20%, then she gets back 90 this much HP. She gets this much HP. She gets this much HP. Right? She gets it all back when she falls below 20. I think she's all right. Good. Phantom isn't good tier. I don't feel like Phantom is a great character. I feel like if you invest into her, maybe, but as an overall character, she's just a good character. Decent. She's what water code needed for more DPS, but other than that, that's that. Maid Privaty is also a good character. I feel like Maid Privaty, let me put Quency in there too. I feel like Maid Privaty, Phantom, and Quency are all like the same type of characters, just for water and electric, right? Same thing as Guillotine. Like, Guillotine is with those 4 characters. They're all kind of the same type of character, just 3 of them are water and 2 of them are electric. I don't feel like Maiden is that great. I feel like, or not Maiden, Maid Privaty, I don't feel like she's that great of a character. I think she's a decent DPS, good AoE, good for the shotgun team, but again, shotgun team is not that relevant. Ram, I'm gonna actually put Ram in mid tier. Ram was a good character. Surprisingly, Ram is a pretty good SR character, right? You would think she's not that great. I think her shield is great because it works with some characters like Naga and stuff like that. I feel like her HP is good. The defense is useless. The cooldown of her burst is what's helping her get that off every other turn. And then the attack lower. Okay, I'm she's going in the trash there. The SR characters are going in the trash there. Trash tier. I feel like Rapunzel's so bad. Genuinely, I feel like I could put her in the mid tier. I feel like her attack damage buff is great, but the problem is you have to hold her normal attack. You have to stop her from attacking essentially to get that off, and then everything else she has is to herself. She heals herself. I think she gives herself a shield if I remember correctly. Like it's so funny because the other Rapunzel is like a team-wide good character. This character is so selfish. I cannot have her higher. I cannot have her higher than the trash tier. I could put her in mid. Let me see. Does she have a taunting ability? No, there's no reason for me to put no taunting ability. To be that selfish and not even have a taunting ability is crazy in my opinion. Ray, I'm gonna put Ray in the good tier. I don't think Ray is as good as Mari and Asuka personally, but I do think she's very close up there. I think she's a very good character though. Ram, I'm gonna put in the good tier. Do we have a lot of good characters? Clearly, right? I think she was great. Her healing is good to an extent. Her buff towards rocket launchers is like, okay, it's just like any other person who was just to buff all allies. It's just towards rocket launchers. I don't really think she's all that crazy where she should be in great tier. Honestly, I could see her in the mid tier. But I'm gonna put her in the good tier. I will give her that. Rosanna, a great character. I feel like Rosanna is a very good character. Not a character people will use like that, but I do find her damage taken increase to be very, very, very powerful. The sustained damage is good for like characters with sustains, which is like only 2 of them, which is Viper and Sakura. But other than that, not really going to like use it that much. Damage taken is good. Damage to parts is good. I don't feel like her actual DPS for herself is that good. I think her attack buff is decent, and then again, damage to parts is really helpful. So I'm not gonna put her in the. I want to put her in the great tier just for this because it's. I don't know at least what 30 seconds, but it's every other 20 or every burst rotation you can get that off, right? It's kind of like another version of Sakura, in my opinion, right? Rouge is broken. Rouge is like one of the best characters they dropped this year. Rouge is easily very, 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 very powerful. Her HP mechanic is good. Her attack buffs is good. Her attack damage is good. Her damage reduction is good. She's a very good character. She also has the same thing as the Killer Wife, but rather than it just being she lowers their cooldown by 7 seconds, she actually gives them max HP as well. Rouge is one of the broken characters of 2024. Rumani is hot garbage. We're not even going to talk about her. She's just garbage. Does literally nothing. She does jack all. Sakura is a great character as well. I feel like Rosanna and Sakura are great characters. It's kind of a reach for me to have Rosanna up here. I don't think so. I'm gonna have Rosanna and Sakura in the great tier. If you guys want me to put Rosanna down here, then I can do that. Let me know. I'm not gonna make another video about this, but I do feel like these two are great characters that came out. I feel like they're very good. Scarlet Black Shadow's a broken character, the second best DPS to come out in 2024, right after Cinderella. Easily a broken tier. As you guys can see, 4 of the pilgrims that came out, well, 4 out of the 5 pilgrims that came out this year are in the broken tier, as you guys can see. So yeah. Bunny Soda, I feel like is good. I don't feel like she's great. I think her extra 5 seconds to the full burst is good, but a lot of people think that like the extra 5 seconds to her increasing full burst is also an extra 5 seconds to the actual burst skill. That's not how that works. And that's why a lot of people put her in the great tier or think she's that good, but that's not how that works. Again, she is good for the shotgun team, but if you're not using shotgun team, not really using her, and I don't think the shotgun team is all that crazy. Trony, a garbage, a mid character. I mean, I have beef with Trony, as you guys know. A lot of people were jumping me when Trony came out just because I wasn't one of those oomfies who were gonna go ahead and simp for her because her feet was showing. I'm sorry, a lot of you guys are weird when it comes to something like that with Trony, who looks like a child in the game. So hey, that's just my opinion, shoot me, but it is what it is, right? Viper, I feel like Viper is great. I feel like Viper's the second best like treasure item character. Right? I feel like after Frima, after Exia, after Diesel, I feel like Viper is the second best favorite item character, hence why I'm putting her in the great tier. Does very, very good damage for a burst 2. She actually hits harder than a lot of the burst 3s in the game, which is quite crazy. But other than that, I think she got a pretty good buff. And then Zwei, I'm gonna put Zwei in the good tier. I think Zwei is great for any Pierce teams, any Pierce characters, which are a lot of the characters in the game. Don't think she's mid. I think she actually is very, very helpful. I mean, if you're running Pierce characters as your main DPS, I've compared Zwei as the main burst 1 with Pierce DPSs compared to just overall supports with Pierce DPSs, and they always perform better with Zwei as the Pierce buffer towards Pierce characters. That's good, because when you're running Pierce characters, then you don't have to run just the best overall support burst 1 like Litter. You can just put Zwei onto that team and then have Litter onto another team. I feel like that's why I'm putting Zwei up in the good tier there, right? But there we go, 20 minutes of yep, and that is the final tier list right there. I am very proud of this tier list. I don't disagree with this tier list at all, actually. I don't think there's anything I would change besides maybe Rosanna can go down to good tier. I don't think anybody's going up from mid. I don't think anybody from trash is going up. I feel like the only person in great that can go to broken for a lot of you guys will probably be Mari or Asuka to an extent. But other than that, let me know if you guys agree or not. It's your boy Zxous. 21 minutes of yapping. I'm gonna go do my things. I'm out. Bye.